Let me tell you something they don't teach you in school or show you in glossy magazines. Some of the most dangerous people you'll meet won't come with warning labels. They'll come dressed as friends, family, colleagues, people you trust, and before you know it, they'll be rewriting your story, shrinking your worth and dimming your light. But here's the truth: you are not obligated to shrink so someone else can feel tall. One of the most empowering things you can do is learn to spot toxic behavior before it takes root in your life. Toxic people don't always show up throwing insults or creating drama outright. Sometimes they operate subtly, disguised as jokes, backhanded compliments, or constant comparison. They'll make you question your worth, your capabilities, and even your identity, not because you are lacking, but because your light intimidates their darkness. Think of them as emotional vampires. They drain you, leaving you anxious, insecure, and doubting your choices. But here's the key: awareness is your first defense. Just like Priyanka Chopra has spoken about the importance of knowing your value and not allowing others to define it, you have to develop an inner radar that goes off when someone repeatedly disrespects your boundaries, invalidates your feelings, or makes you feel small. Start by observing how you feel after interacting with certain people. Do you feel empowered, or do you feel like your spirit's been stepped on? Trust that instinct. Toxic people often repeat cycles. They charm, criticize, control. Once you recognize the pattern, you don't need to explain, justify, or beg for decency. You simply protect your peace. Remember, recognizing toxicity isn't about hate. It's about healing. It's about realizing that you're not here to be anyone's emotional punching bag or project. You're here to shine, and no one has the right to put a lid on your light. When someone tries to downgrade you, it's easy to start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe they're right. But here's the truth: someone else's opinion is not your identity. You were not born to carry the weight of someone else's insecurity disguised as feedback. People will try to box you in based on their limitations, not your potential. Don't let their small view of the world become your mirror. We live in a world where noise is constant: judgments, unsolicited advice, passive-aggressive comments. But learning to separate someone's words from your truth is power. Just because they say you're not talented doesn't mean you aren't. Just because they roll their eyes when you dream big doesn't mean your dreams are unworthy. What matters most is not what they say, it's what you believe when they say it. Priyanka Chopra has faced endless criticism, whether it was about her accent, her skin tone, or her choices. But she never allowed those opinions to define her. She chose to listen to the voice inside her, not the noise outside her. And that's exactly what you need to do. Guard your mind like it's sacred, because it is. Choose carefully what you allow in. The moment you stop internalizing their opinions is the moment you take your energy is your most valuable currency. More than time, more than money. When toxic people show up in your life, they don't always come to argue or scream. Sometimes they quietly chip away at your confidence, your peace, your joy. That's why boundaries aren't just polite. They're essential. You don't need to justify why you're stepping back. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace over chaos. Saying no is not rude. It's self-respect in action. You're not being cold, you're being clear. Priyanka Chopra once said, "You don't have to please everyone. You just have to be okay with who you are." That's what boundaries are: choosing you unapologetically. Toxic people often test limits. They'll make you feel guilty for setting standards or call you difficult when you don't bend to their expectations. But remember, someone being offended by your boundary doesn't mean the boundary is wrong. It means the boundary is working. Creating emotional distance doesn't mean you hate someone. It means you love yourself enough not to be drained. Whether it's silencing that friend who only calls to complain or limiting time with someone who always criticizes, your mental space deserves protection. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. They decide who gets access to your energy, and on what terms. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. When you set boundaries, you don't just protect your energy, you reclaim it. And in that space, you'll find something powerful: clarity, confidence, and calm. The kind of space where your real growth begins. When someone tries to provoke you or downgrade your worth, your first instinct might be to react, lash out, defend, or prove them wrong. But reacting in the heat of the moment often hands them exactly what they want: control over your emotions. True strength lies in your ability to pause, breathe, and choose a response that reflects your power, not their projection. You don't have to fight every battle just because someone throws a punch with their words. Instead of reacting impulsively, respond with intention. This doesn't mean silence, it means clarity. It means choosing your words, your timing, and your energy with precision. Think of it like chess, not checkers. Every move is calculated, not chaotic. There's a quiet power in refusing to let someone pull you into their storm. When you respond instead of react, you stay rooted in your values, not swayed by their negativity. And that unshakable calm, that's what rattles them most. Toxic people thrive on emotional chaos. When you don't give them what they crave, you disarm them. Priyanka Chopra has often handled criticism and belittling comments not by stooping to the level of her critics, but by owning her story, letting success speak louder than any insult. That's the energy you bring when you respond with grace and confidence. You show that their opinion holds no weight in your world. Responding isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's realizing that not every attack needs a defense, and not every insult deserves your energy. When you stay composed, you keep the power in your hands, and you show them exactly who's in charge of your life. You, who you surround yourself with, can either elevate you or erode you. Mirrors reflect who you truly are. They show your strengths, your potential, and your flaws with honesty and compassion. Magnifying glasses, on the other hand, zoom in on every mistake, every insecurity, and make you feel like you're never enough. The people in your life should help you grow, not shrink you down to the size of their fears. Magnify. In glass, people focus on what's wrong. With you, they dissect your choices, doubt your dreams, and constantly highlight your imperfections. And if you're not careful, you start seeing yourself through their distorted lens. That's how self-doubt grows, when you internalize someone else's small-mindedness. Now, think about the mirrors, the people who hold space for your evolution. They reflect your worth back to you, even when you forget it. They challenge you to be better, not because you're broken, but because they see greatness in you. Those are the ones you keep close. Priyanka Chopra has spoken about choosing her tribe wisely. People who support her vision, remind her of who she is, and call her out with love when needed. That's what mirrors do. They don't flatter you to manipulate. They reflect your reality to empower. You don't need critics in your corner disguised as truth tellers. You need encouragers, believers, people who remind you of your light when life dims it. So take inventory, ask yourself, are the people around me building me up or breaking me down? Then adjust accordingly, because your circle is your mirror, and when you're surrounded by the right people, you'll never forget who you are, even when the world tries to make you doubt it.